All right. Good day, everyone that is watching us live and direct on this episode of our weekly training sections, which is a community study series. Every Saturdays, we have technical training sections between the hours of 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. West Africa time. And on Sundays, we normally have soft skills technical sections where we complement what we know technically, because the world is now being ruled by people who are technically savvy and also control a lot of respect in terms of soft skills. And that is why we are combining those two weapons together so that we can be able to win our journey on our tech journey. I want to welcome you to another episode of our series. Today, this evening, we'll be having um, our training section, which is on soft skills. And our guest speaker is no other person than Mr. Olusheye. Mr. Olusheye has been our speaker. This is the second time in the series. Am I correct?
Yes, that's
That
correct.
he has been taking so that he has been taking us through a lot of technical know-how on this journey. The topic of discussion will be the pathways to career transition in tech. We titled it as Ask the Expert, the Pathways to Career Transition in Tech. So it is my honor and privilege to welcome Mr. Olusheye on board for today's episode. Thank you so much, Mr. Sheye.
Thank you, Mr. Popola, and good day to every of our listeners everywhere where you may be joining this session from. Um, Again, as it was mentioned earlier, today's session is a complementary session to the Saturday sessions that we typically have within the Azure Nigerian community. And so one is not incomplete without the other because whether it is within tech or for folks coming across or coming into tech from other career paths or existing careers that they may have, it all applies to everybody. And this essentially is why today's topic is interesting. As you know, we'll be discussing pathways to a career transition in tech, whether you're moving laterally within the industry in itself, or you are coming in from other fields where you have practiced previously and are looking to join the tech industry. But overall, the goal for today is, we'll be speaking specifically on practical terms on how you can leverage your existing skill sets. I'll be happy to also share my story because many may not know. I used to be, I graduated, as a matter of fact, as a clinical anatomist from, the Medical College of Lautech in Ogbomoso. And, from here, I'm here today as an SRE engineer. And, many may not know this, but, it is going to be actual practical stories about myself as well, and overall how we can both navigate this change together. So, over the next 30 minutes, we will be going over this together, addressing what the core details around this pathway change in career tech is going to look like. And, please feel free to share or ask your questions from any of the platforms with which you may be watching or seeing this from. And I will be happy to take it for questions that we may not be to do. We are not able to take in real time. We can always respond to that async so that you also can get detailed feedback about it. Also, check our community group. We have the Nigerian Azure community group on WhatsApp. Please feel free to join this group, ask questions. We have a lot of experts within the community who are always more than happy to share their knowledge with you. So we will start. The very first thing that everybody thinks about when it comes to jobs within the tech space is, hey, there are lots of jobs, and this is because tech in itself is evolving by the day. It's not static, as a lot of people are aware now. We have AI changing the game. 2 or 3 years ago, this was not it. It was AI was just whispers across the corridors of tech 3 years back, and right now we have a full-fledged industry that is running on AI essentially. And as a result, we have new jobs that are getting created by the day. As a matter of fact, there's a projection of about 69 million jobs, specifically across, the cloud industry, the AI industry, data science and engineering, cybersecurity, as it were. And for many as well, there is always the known notion that tech pays well because you want to change your career because you want to be able to afford yourself a better life, right? And tech is the one tool that guarantees that, so to say. You have an average of about 830,000 US dollars in salary across this industry, as it were. It does not mean that if you're coming into the industry today, this is what you would earn, but it is just a projected income across the average of an average across the different roles or pay band within the industry. So you would have folks who earn less, you'd have folks who earn more. But the overall goal is that wherever it is you are, you will get paid as long as you have the skills for it in tech. But the most important thing that I think I want to highlight from this page is there is almost a 90% skills shortage within the industry. And why do we have this? The singular fact responsible for this is AI. And the reason why this is so is because the skills that used to be relevant some couple of years back are becoming obsolete by the day. And the reason why this is becoming obsolete is because AI is changing everything. And as a result, it is creating new roles and new skills that are required to be able to effectively compete in this age of technology. That said, this also categorically means that we have the perfect opportunity. Essentially, there has been no better time for anyone who wants to come into technology to make that cross into tech right now. So, for the next steps, we'll be essentially addressing why this matters for us, and how we can leverage the opportunity that we now have within the tech industry to be able to get where it is we want to be at. Now, as the reason why this matters for everyone is just that the industry is evolving, right? And every career, regardless of whether you're in tech or whether you're in a traditional industry or whether you're in medicine or you're in engineering, AI is touching on everything, right? So whether you're going to stay stuck within your old industry or you're making that move into tech, wherever it is you are, there is an evolution, and that evolution is an evolution driven by technology. So if you're looking at crossing in that divide into tech, the time is now to do that. And for even folks who are within tech in itself, also understand the fact that that we have AI right now. It is touching on your actual role. It means you're impacted by the day on what it is you do. And as a result of this, right, you are mandated not just by the industry as it were, but the evolution of the industry as a whole to either upskill yourself, to either be much better, that is going too deep into the skills that you have on your current role, or changing your career path to moving, for instance, as I have highlighted, from maybe a sysadmin role to DevOps. That has been maybe like the natural progression within that space for years. So you do sysadmin for a while, and then you learn new tools, and you become maybe a DevOps engineer, you become an SRE engineer. That has been what the traditional path has always been like. But even right now, as it were, even DevOps engineer are no longer safe. Because why? AI changing everything. And so the moves that we're discussing is not just going to be limited to the folks who are coming outside of tech who do not have any idea of what technology is and are only just looking to develop their own skills, to folks who are within the domain in itself and just looking to get better. So, what are different types of transitions that we would have within tech, as it were? We have folks who are shifting their domain. So they've never been in tech, they've not written a line of code in their life, they've not done anything related to IT support, not touched a line of PowerShell before, right? And for instance, I used a random instance as teaching people who have been teachers before who are looking to come into tech. Maybe they learn the Google IT support certificate, and from there they get their first entrance into tech support, or the guys who are shifting vertically within the industry who are maybe developers, but you've written code for years, and right now you're worried, hey, how does Claude affect the quality of the code that you generate? Every now and then we hear founders talk about how their AI tool will change the game and how they will not hire any longer for junior roles, right? The the instance that comes to mind right now is maybe Sahil. That's the founder for Gumroad, I believe, right? It's tweeted in the last couple of days that, hey, I'm not going to be hiring anybody mid-level and below because it thinks all of those things AI can essentially just get them done. So for you as a developer, if you think you're a junior developer, right, you're beginning to ask yourself, is my job safe? Do I still want to become a developer? Do I want to move higher to roles like an engineering manager role, right? Or are you within the same industry space where you're just doing like a lateral shift? For example, people who have been QA involved in the software delivery process, thinking of becoming either DevOps engineers or just becoming SRE engineers, because essentially you've been managing the quality or the delivery process for software for a while. Or for guys who think, hey, it is just because I want to grow, right? And you've been an individual contributor, silent solo guy who gets the job done on the team, but then you want to be able to become more people facing. You want to be involved more in how technology impacts business, right? By becoming maybe an evangelist or by becoming a solutions architect, right? These are pretty much the extent of moves that you have within the tech space, whether it's from inside or from outside. But the good thing is, making this move is not unique to just you. Everybody, regardless of where they are or regardless of what point it is they find themselves, would always make this move. I, for one, as an instance, as I did mention earlier, I started my career right from uni. Went to Lautech as a clinical anatomist, finished, and not for one day did I ever practice what I studied in school. I just went in Andela as a software developer. From there, did a bit of admin and information technology management. And today, I'm an SRE engineer, right? But the interesting thing is, how did I do this? I am going to be sharing all of those practical steps with us just right after now. But the one thing that I want to highlight here is the fact that you're not alone on this journey. So do not think that your choice of making that move from either outside of the tech domain or even within the tech domain in itself is unique to you. And there is no rule book that says you have to do this just once. There is no rule book that says you have to do this just once. So it means you have the permission to evolve yourself and to evolve your career as many times as possible as you wish. I have made that move 3 times, and I can confidently tell you that there is no stopping you if you choose to want to move that. If you ask me what are my 3 career moves, first, I moved out from medical sciences right into software development. From software development, I moved right into systems administration. From systems administration, I've moved into, well, I did a bit of systems administration and systems engineering, ended up as an information technology manager, and I moved into SRE. I've done SRE for the last 3 years, and right now I am moving into security. And I say security because that is the one unique thing that has been like the baseline of my interest since I found myself in technology, right? When I was doing software development, the very first firm that I worked for was a firm that was focused on security. When I got into systems administration and engineering, the base of what interested me the most was, hey, how do we manage the security of data? How do we manage the security for people and networks? But then I still excelled at what I did. And then when I did transition to becoming an SRE engineer with Macrometa, the firm that I currently work for, at the core of the things that interest me the most is the shift left ideology, where we speak about how do we ensure uh, security right from runtime or even infrastructure base, from the infrastructure base into runtime solution, into how we have secure solutions available in production. I am still able to do my day to day as an SRE engineer, but yet I am deep into what the core of security is. And, I'm telling myself, hey, I think my interest in security has grown past what I think should just be kept under wraps. And I want to pursue this full time, right? So I am making my next move right now from reliability engineering into security architecture. So it is going to be a transition. So even me, myself, as I am speaking on this call today, it is also something that applies to me, and I am sharing that practical experience so that we can both walk through this together and, get this win for everybody. So, for folks who are looking to come into tech, or for guys who are currently within the industry that are looking to transition across roles, what are the top roles for you to consider within this space right now? First, AI. Like there's no brainer about this, and the reason why there is no brainer about this is because this is the base of what the future of technology is going to be. The world is going autonomous. It means we have AI and machine learning that is going to rule and drive everything. Every single thing it is that it's not just going to be using AI to generate text messages or using AI to generate LinkedIn posts. It is going to be ingrained into the core fabric of the society. Tesla is just scratching the surface. We have autonomous robots. We have Waymo, that is driverless cars in San Francisco in the US. And all of those things are driven by AI. So it means we need people who have a thorough understanding, base level software skills, and aspire more to become AI engineers. So, if you're currently within the tech space, this is a current role to grab at. Like you're in prime position to be able to chase this. And these roles is in demand and is projected to grow by over 26%. So if you think there are lots of AI engineers right now, there is room for more. And this means that even folks who are coming from outside, your learning curve may just be more steeper than the guys who have been within tech all their life, right? But it is doable as well. So do not shy away from it. Next on the line is cybersecurity. I am one who is trying to make that transition full time into cybersecurity architecture. right? And this is because I'm leveraging the skill set that I have had throughout the years to make that move into security architecture, right? And this is solely because when everything goes autonomous, security is going to be at the underlying. It is going to be the primary driver of every single thing that we have across the field of technology. The first thing that people are concerned about when it comes to technology is security of their data, and that is not just individuals but organizations as well. And two, the security of networks. So, how are you sure that the AI device that you've just bought and you have in your house, right, is not snooping in or listening in on you, right? Security engineers are going to be at the backbone of what drives that core security that gives assurance for people to use technology effectively in their day-to-day lives. Cloud solutions, this is what I have done for the last 3 years. That's like fully for the last 3 years, but maybe if I'm looking at it more broadly, I would say in the last 7 years, this is what I have done. Cloud solutions architecture, engineering at its core, that is what I have done. And this role is still in high demand. So do not think that, hey, because Olu, as just said, is moving away from cloud engineering or cloud solutions architecture as a reliability engineer into security means that this role is no longer in vogue. There are roles that are opening up by the day for this, and there are gaps that are meant to be filled here. So this means if you have the skill set that is required, this is a core role that the industry needs and everybody needs to ensure that we have full uptime across service, production servers, across systems, across networks for users around the globe. This is a role to be filled in. Software engineering, this is a skill that would never go away at any point in time. So whether it's blockchain, whether it's DevOps, whether it's SRE, whether it's just regular software engineering as a web developer, these are skills that are always going to be in demand. And particularly in our climate in West Africa or Africa as it were, these are skills that we require to blow up Africa, as it were. And when I mean blow up Africa, I mean to expand our capacity, our economic capacity as a continent. So this skill is fundamental to the success of the other three that we have above. So for you to be a good cloud solutions architect or a good cloud solutions engineer, you need to understand what software is. To excel with cybersecurity, you need to understand that as well. To be an AI engineer, you need to. But it doesn't mean that for guys who are coming in into the industry who have not had any interaction with tech, it doesn't mean that this transition is not possible. It is very doable. Your learning curve is just going to be much steeper than guys who have been in the industry for quite a number of years before now. Last on the list that I have, which again is not the least on the list, is program management, project management, and product management. This is the field in tech that is not reliant on software at all. So it means you don't need to know how to write code. The biggest challenge that I've heard from a lot of people who are coming into tech is that, hey, I don't know how to write code. Can I make it in tech? Yes, you can. The industry is welcoming to everybody, whether you're a coder or you don't know how to code. The industry is welcoming to you. And there is one more thing that I did not include in this, which is tech sales. Tech sales is a huge part of technology. But beyond you not just being able to code, it requires you to have an in-depth understanding of the technology with which you're managing or you're selling. So whether you're going to be selling software to you're selling software to industries to use, you need to understand the product in itself. Whether you're just sitting as a project or products manager on a team, you need to understand the products that you're steering. So, if they say, hey, you're a project manager for a data center delivery or for a data center, as it were, you need to understand all of the components, that make up this data center. So, how do we get cooling in? What are the timelines overall? And again, this is not just in depth; it is just a broad overview, just so you have a clear understanding of what components are being fused together to deliver your overall project. It is critical. So, uh, whether you're a software developer or otherwise, you are always welcomed in the field of tech. One key thing that I wanted to also mention on, as to the resources that we need overall, I split them into three, is that one, you have to understand that transition is not easy. So, take for instance, I have done security for a huge part of my life. I have a lot of security certifications, although up until January or February of this year, I have not chased security as a core part that I want to follow within tech, right? Um, but now that I am beginning to focus on that to say, hey, security architecture is the next thing that I want to do. I've realized yet again, for the fourth time in my career, that transition is not easy. And why do I say that? Change never comes easy for anything or anyone. So it's not just limited to tech, as it were, because it means you have to shift your mindset. We'll speak about that later. You have to be able to harness your strength as an individual to focus and make that change happen. And this would mean understanding the new part that you're in without losing connection with what you were in before, just so you're able to bridge that gap. And being able to overall tell a story that projects you to be ready for the new field that you're considering going into. And that's why I've broken it down into these three broad headings, which is one, you have to be curious and you have to have a learning mindset. So regardless of the role that you're looking to come into in tech, whether it is a software heavy role or a non-coding role, you need to be curious. Curiosity is what runs tech, as it were. Curiosity is what makes people sit down to say, hey, this particular style or approach to technology is no longer suitable. This no longer fits the industry. We want to be able to move away from this into something new. It is that curiosity that sparks creation. It is what sparks ingenuity. And that is what you need to have as an everyday tool, as a resource that you have to go to grow and develop yourself in tech, in the field of tech. So you have to get relevant certifications. Essentially, how do you do this, right? You have to get relevant certifications. You have to be able to build root work projects. So it means you're not just limiting yourself to the things you do within your regular 9 to 5 hours. It means you need to be able to burn those extra hours, the extra candle at night, from 8 to 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. You want to dedicate about 2 hours every day to say, hey, for 2 hours every day, I'm just going to put myself into constantly learning new skills, into learning new tool set. As a matter of fact, this is even worse for guys who are maybe within the DevOps or the cloud space, or maybe their SREs. And that is because new tools are being brought about every day. Most organizations want to try it, or you have different organizations that are using different tools. So in some organizations, they are using Spinnaker. In another organization, they are using Splunk, for instance. In another organization, they are maybe using Argo CD. In another organization, they are using Flux, right? So, and if let's assume that what you are using in your organization is GitHub Actions, the question is, how do you want to be able to transition from an organization that uses just GitHub Actions to using Argo CD or maybe Flux without learning this thing? So you need to be able to equip or have that mindset that is always ready to learn in your spare time, whether you're sitting down, uh, having coffee or at dinner, you just have like a YouTube video just playing in the background, right? That is just telling you or reminding you of critical concepts around what your new area or what your field of interest or what new to your learning or what you should be learning should be. The next part is leverage community and seek mentorship as well. Beyond, there is nobody that is an island, right? And you want to be able to build on the strengths of the community, just as we have like the Nigerian Azure community, to be able to ask questions, find people who you can build with, find people who you can get into a study group with to pass your exams or certifications, and overall find people with which you can grow together. The story is more interesting or it makes for more fun when you're able to look around you and then say, hey, these five people that were together, we started this together and we're able to grow together. And overall, beyond just being able to grab the certifications and have like a continuous mind and leverage in the community, the one thing that you also want to do is give yourself visibility. Nobody would come and seek you in the corner of your room where you've been studying if you do not put yourself out there. And putting yourself out there means you need to be able to tell your story yourself in the most unique way possible. People do this every single day, and I have seen people's life change. And when I mean change, it is an aha change. Like you see the real change, and you're like, oh my goodness, how did this person achieve this? It is all just connected to them being able to tell a good story of what they've been able to build in their careers and how, what they have been learning, what they've been learning is important, right? And they're able to put all of this together, tell a good story that is attractive to hiring managers who are looking for the next talent out there. The one thing that I wanted to point out is to the biggest question after all of this that will probably pop up in your mind is, where do I start from, right? And the industry, as it were, for tech has a tool called roadmap.sh. If you go to this site, you have all the different career paths that you probably just want to chase within tech. You have a roadmap on what you need to learn or what you need to understand to be able to say, hey, I am maybe an SRE engineer, or oh, I know all of this, and now I can call myself a DevOps engineer, or I know all of this, I can call myself an AI engineer, or a machine learning engineer. So if you go to roadmap.sh, this is a picture of what the landing page looks like. Just select any of the roles that interest you, whether it's data analysis, whether it's UI UX design, machine learning, AI engineering, or you want to become an engineering manager. Just select on it, and it would show you an highlight of the things that you need to know to be able to get to your final point where you can confidently say, hey, I am now an engineer in this role, or I am now a product or project manager. I can call myself this. And beyond just the roadmap in itself, these are what I've highlighted to be the core pathways for your learning journey. First, you should be able to self-pace yourself. I am a huge advocate for self-learning. Most of the learnings that I've done are things that I sat down to teach myself. And also thanks to the different tutors that we have out there across all different platforms, I've been able to sit down by myself, speak to folks within our community, say, hey, I want to learn this. What resource are you using? And I sit down, bury my head in it, try to learn, try to understand it. And it would be the biggest asset that you would have as someone coming into tech. So, you want to go self-paced first, which is you want to use platforms because we have a lot of free and valuable resources. For instance, one of those valuable resources, our Saturday series that we have, where we have the technical discussions on different technology sets or the different technology tools that we have out there, right? You want to be able to leverage these resources to bolster your knowledge in all of this field. And we have platforms like Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn, I tell people, is the most comprehensive platform that you may have on any cloud resource. So if you want to learn cloud, I tell people, just go to Microsoft Learn, pick a part. You want to do maybe take the AZ104 as an administrator. They have resources, and this is completely free. You are not paying anything. The only thing that you're just paying for yourself is the cost of data, right? And after this, if you wish, if you think that the self-paced platform is not helping, you may want to try boot camps. One of those boot camps is there is a boot camp by Tech by Nana. She's very popular within the DevOps space. So if you're coming into DevOps, it's probably one of those resources that would come up as a boot camp to use, right? The next would be videos. YouTube is an excellent resource. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, in this world that you want to learn that is not on YouTube. If you can't find it on YouTube, it does not exist anywhere. So go to YouTube, find resources, curate it. Again, if you're unsure, leverage your community to ask questions. Hey, has anybody seen this? Is it useful for us? Even Harvard, they have their videos on YouTube that is free. CX50, Intro to Computer Science, is free for everybody. 11 hours video. Like, you just sit down and you just listen and you just blow your mind, right? And next to this as well is volunteering. There is a saying that I think I had in the last article that I wrote, which is, you read to gather dots. So think of it as the picture of a dog, right? You're just gathering different dots, but then when you begin to write, that's when you connect those dots together. And that is essentially what volunteering will do for you. So whether it's an internship or it is just volunteering within the community to come and speak, share your knowledge, or just writing articles, all of these things is you connecting all of the dots of the learnings that you've done together. It helps to water the knowledge that you've gathered over time such that it becomes a tree that then begins to bear fruit. And then the last thing on the list is, you want to be able to build. And what does building entail? It means that you want to be able to build projects, you want to be able to share it with people, you want to be able to share it with the world, because when you begin to tell your stories, these are the things you want to include in the stories. These are the things you want to be able to tell as what you've done, as the showcase projects that you have. It doesn't have to be something big, as a matter of fact. It just has to be something that works. That is what you should focus on. And I also wanted to mention as well that certifications are great. A lot of people are like, oh, so is certification required? Maybe except you're like a software engineer, where what just matters the most is the quality of the code that you write, right? So those people, you probably just want to focus on lead code, right? But for most of the roles in tech, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's AI, whether it's project or product management, whether it is cloud, you want to have certifications. Certifications, just think of your certifications as a smoke. So for instance, if you're standing and you're looking into the afar off and you see smoke rising from somewhere, what that tells your mind is, hey, there is fire there, right? And in many cases, you see that smoke, the thicker the smoke that is rising out of there, the deeper the fire that is burning under the bush, right? So that's what certifications are like. So when you get your certifications and you post them, whether it's on LinkedIn or whether you share them with your community, and someone stumbles on your profile and sees that you're certified in XYZ, you may not tell them categorically that this person knows everything about this particular domain, but it just tells them that, hey, if this person has focused on security, or if this person has focused on AI, and they have this much certifications, it means that if they sat down to read this, to pass these exams by themselves, then they should have quality. It gives them the confidence to be able to invite you to want to have a chat with you. And it is from that chat that you're able to convince them that, hey, what I know or what you see as the certifications that I have is something that I'm able to translate into business value for you as an hiring manager or as an organization that is interested in me. So See your certifications as not just, just papers that you're gathering. See them as you lighting up a fire, and the smoke rising up for hiring managers, people in HR, to be able to see you and invite you to come speak, because you need something to get your foot in the door. Um, one big thing that we'll always have there, is imposter syndrome. Everybody suffers from it. There is nobody, even including myself, we also suffer from it. But I want you to be in it. And the reason why I say you should be in it is, do not allow it to define you. Nobody knows everything. We are all learners, whether they're principal engineers or you are an entry level engineer. We're all learning in our field and in our role. And so do not allow your imposter syndrome, do not allow it to define you, do not allow it to characterize how you project yourself to the world. Because if you have that doubt, by the time you're speaking to an average hiring manager, they're able to see and spot this when they are in the room with you. And you do not want that. You want to be able to project confidence when you speak to them. So just like the cat, look into the mirror and see a lion. Yes, you may be a cat, but see yourself as a lion, walk into the room as a lion, and grab that opportunity. Overall, the one critical thing, whether it is your certification or your leveraging community, is you need to be able to shift your mindset. And when I mean shifting your mindset, always see every day as day one. The moment you do not see it as day one, it means you stop learning. And when you stop learning, it means you stop putting your brain to work. And essentially, you will atrophy your mental muscle for learning. You do not want that to happen to you. Do not rest on the words of, oh, I know Terraform. That's it. I don't want to learn anything else. I'm sorry, but you would suffer. You have to continuously learn. And when you're learning, see your skills or the skill sets that you're building as not just skill sets, but value that organizations are looking for. So, if you have the CSSP, for instance, the CSSP, they'll say, oh, maybe one of the other certifications that are out there for guys in the security field to get, right? And, I recall that when I was writing the exam, one of the things, I think one of the first line on the book, and as you would see on many things that you come to learn, is that, you need to have a mindset change, because security is not just about firewalls or putting files into an S3 bucket with no public access, right? It is thinking of risk, and that is what every single skill set that we gather should be seen as. Think of it as value that you have to present to an organization, and then how are you able to present this value? It's in the facts or it's in the story that you're able to tell. The next thing is be open to starting again, whether it is entry level if you're just coming into the industry, or you're making a lateral switch between two domains within the field of tech in itself. Be open to starting again. So whether uh, you're crossing domains, know that if you were a senior engineer or a senior DevOps engineer, it doesn't mean that when you want to land your security role, you would land that as a senior security engineer. They may just give you as a mid-level security engineer or an entry-level security engineer, depending on what it is or what knowledge it is you have, right? And when you see that, do not allow that to tell you that, oh, I used to be a senior DevOps engineer, right? Do not think of what you had in the past. Be always open to starting from the scratch, which is what I've termed day one, right? You need that continuous reinvigoration of your mind to be able to stay in that continuous learning phase for it to be able to develop and deliver value. As a matter of fact, day one is, a very popular mantra in Amazon as an organization by Jeff Bezos, right? And, it is popular within the tech field to say it is just day one for everything. That day one essentially is you telling yourself that, hey, I might position myself for a new opportunity. I might be in a room where I am granted an audience to speak, but regardless of what position it is I find myself, my mindset is one, that is stuck on learning and improving processes just to be able to deliver value, because that is what technology is at the end of the day. And if you get rejections, rejections are a huge part of technology, as it were. Be resilient. It's not just rejection, it is just a closed opportunity that you're not right for. Think of it as a learning curve to understand what worked in your application, and what the recruiter was asking for, and how you can better yourself in the next application phase when you get to speak to a new recruiter, if that is the case. And last but not the least, I'm giving out this what I call the action framework for everyone who wants to transition into this field. And the first thing is, pick a part that is closely aligned with your goals and your interests, where you're able to tell a good story around it. And you learn with just one focus in mind at a time. And if you're learning, do not go and bite from the top of the tree. Start with the fundamentals. It will change every single thing that you know, because every single thing is always tied to the fundamentals of technology. And what are the fundamentals? You need to understand networks, you need to understand systems, and if you're coming into maybe non-coding roles, you need to understand risk and business value. Those two things, or those three things, they'll be your fundamentals to learn. And then apply your skills, share, volunteer wherever it is you're able to find yourself. And lastly, network with intent across every divide that it is you find yourself. Walk up to people, introduce yourself, tell them what it is you're looking for, put your story out there on LinkedIn, share, follow people who speak more within the domain it is you're interested in, and share your own stories so that you interest them and it attracts them, as it were. And my final closing shot, just so we have time for our questions, is that one, tech is really vast. Like, tech is big, it is evolving by the day, and there is going to be room for everybody who wants to get into this industry to not just practice but be successful at their practice as well. Two, your background is not a barrier to your success in tech. So do not think that, hey, I used to be a nurse. Um, I cannot become a software developer. As a matter of fact, yesterday I read a lady's story who used to be a dentist and is now a cloud engineer at Amazon. Your background is only a bridge that tells of your story of resilience. And you need to be able to leverage this at every single point in time when crossing the divide into technology. The last thing on the list is you have to start now. Procrastination is only a thief of time. It will steal every single minute that you have, and do not allow it do that. You have to start now, and do not go for the big bites. Start as small as you can. But more importantly, stay consistent with that small size bite. I have a reminder on my clock that tells me at 9 p.m. every single day that I have to learn, I have to build, I have a checklist of things that I have to go. I don't do it every day. There are days that I get the alarm and I just shut it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just want to watch football. I want to watch Champions League. Sorry. But those days I don't allow those days define the overall goal. It just means that, hey, this thing is actively in my mind. So even when I do not do it, if it feels like a mental debt that I need to pay forward, either the next day or the next morning, I'm like, hey, the 2 hours or 1 hour that I was supposed to use yesterday, let me just sit down and just get the gist of what I'm supposed to learn for that day, right? And the next 9 p.m. comes and maybe I'm able to do it. But it's important that you're able to stay consistent no matter how small it is. If you practice all of this, I am certain for a fact that your journey in tech will not just be smooth, but it will be successful. I wish everyone a Godspeed and the very best success on your journey, whether you're just coming into the industry or you're in industry and you're looking to transition into new roles. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them. Otherwise, you may please feel free to, shoot me an email. I have my email right there showing on the screen. Please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to, get questions from you to help. Or, feel free to also connect with me on our Nigerian Azure community. Not just me, but, the lot of leaders and experts that we have within that community. We're always more than happy to help. It takes a community to raise a child. In tech, it takes a community as well to raise a good technologist. Thank you very much, and back to you, Mr. Popola.
Wow, 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 wow. The concluding part is so awesome that we need to leverage platforms. I was at the backstage when you were making your presentation, and I took notes of so many salient things that you said about how people can transition from one stage to another. Mr. Sheye, you started as a clinical professional. Do you have a regret to even migrate into tech?
Absolutely no regrets, no regrets on my part. I think it's the best thing that I did for myself.
Okay. So with your journey into tech, do you think at some other time maybe you can also look at how you can use technology to power clinical science or clinical services that you have done in the past?
Absolutely, one of the greatest places or one of the greatest industries that I'm looking to work will be back in the medical industry, and
Yeah.
I want to be able to, again, because of how regulated the medical space is in, is probably one of the industries that embrace technological change the least. So a lot of the technologies that you have, require like long hours of review and approval by different agencies, right? But it is
Yeah.
not impervious to change. And it would be one of
Mm,
my greatest honors to be back in that industry to drive a full technological change for the
mm.
industry.
Okay, because the knowledge that you have, yeah, like subject domain, right? Uh,
Yeah,
having having background in medical sciences, um, or medical practitioner, will be a source of advantage if they can also see somebody coming from tech to power what they do at that angle. Maybe it's something you can give a shot at any point in time.
sure, sure. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. All right. So I've looked for the chats, no questions for now, which means we digested the presentation made by Mr. Oluwaseye Olofinyo. We want to thank you so much for the awesome presentations and the insights that we have shared, especially from your journey, because people relate well when they hear stories of people that have transitioned, because that is the only way that we can look at real life stories about what has happened to somebody and what is likely for me to pass through. And we want to thank you so much for sharing those stories. They go so much well to look at what we can do at our own end and how best we can reposition ourselves in terms of learning and in terms of transitioning from one point to another. So what is important is to aim for the best, and we should not shy away, like you mentioned, from the need to move to what is next in our journey. We want to thank you so much for your thoughts and the insight that you shared today.
Thank you, Mr. Popola.
All right, thank you. I think there's a message that just dropped now. Okay, okay. The message is an appreciation. Let me just display that from Turu Lokwe. Thank you, thank you very much. How can one join the Azure community? Okay, I will answer that. To join Azure community, we have a list of platforms. We are on YouTube, we are on Meetup, we are on LinkedIn. We are very active on those three platforms. I shared those links earlier. I will also share them just now so that we can be able to look at that. So this is a response to the question being asked by Tulu Lope Dada on how you can get connected with Azure community. Okay, I think that has been asked and that has been answered. I don't think there's any other one for now. I don't think there's any other one for now. All right, so this will be the points the way I'll be calling it a day for today. Like we said from the presentation, from the start of the presentation, that every week we have two study series, one on Saturdays between the hours of 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. West African time, which is for technical sections, look at technologies and how they can be to our advantage. Then we also have Sunday sessions, which is from the hours of 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. West African time. And during that section, we look at soft skills, how we can complement our technical know-how with soft skills that can be of advantage. So I want to thank you for being part of series, and I want to thank you that when we call on you next weekend, we'll be glad to be part of this section. So everyone, thank you so much, and let us get connected by next week. Mr. Sheye, do have the rest of the day. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Bye bye.
Thanks,
Yeah. Bye bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.